How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Shy Bears Blitz podcast. My name is Omar, and this is Abdul. We got a great episode for you guys today.
We're going to be talking about the Bears' loss to the LA Rams on Sunday night. We're going to be talking about the division as a whole, as well as we're going to be previewing our upcoming matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals this Sunday.
All right, let's get right into it.
So overall, very disappointing loss.
Yeah, but are we really surprised?
I thought we were going to lose from the beginning, but to lose in that fashion at the end, not great.
I don't know. For me, I kind of expected us to lose just because, like, the whole Matt Stafford to the Rams situation, I expected it to be kind of crazy. But the thing is, I will always never not be disappointed. I will always be disappointed with whatever happens,
especially when it gets close. Like it was a close game for a good majority of it. It was a one score. It was 13-6 for in the second quarter, and then it was 20-14 in the third quarter, deep in the third. So it was a very winnable game.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, when you look at the game, and you just look at all the passes the plays that Rams were doing, he just bombs it like whenever he wants down the field.
That's facts.
And it's always some dude is always open just to score it in, and it's that easy for them. And we spend like 10-15 minutes driving it down the field for Matt Nagy to do some stupid play call, or Andy Dalton to be too scared to throw it or something, and it just doesn't work out.
I mean, of course, like I agree with you. You're hopeful that the team's gonna win, but the Rams clearly played better on offense and defense. The Bears offense looked decent. I'm not even gonna hate the Bears offense looked decent. The Bears defense was terrible, just absolutely terrible.
I thought the Bears offense was bad because if you look at all the throws we've done, nothing was past
the scrimmage map, or like the Andy Dalton's attempts. It's the same old. It's the same old Bears offense. We always think that Matt Nagy takes back play calling. Maybe he'll do something different, because last year when Bill Lazor took over play calling, it was actually better because Trubisky actually performed in the last several weeks. If you look at the actual map, he's only attempting throws of about 10 yards. It's nothing. You can't win games like that.
Passes. Yeah, I mean, here, let me ask you something. What makes a great offense?
The ability to spread the field.
The ability to spread the field and the ability for explosive plays. Every great offense has the ability to create explosive plays. How are we going to create explosive plays if we don't attempt something past the 10-yard line?
That's facts. You can't.
That's why I say Matt Nagy as a coach is really bad in terms of play calling. I think he play designs well, but I just think that he has way too high expectations for something we don't have right now. I mean, you have Andy Dalton coming in that you spent $10 million on, and you're only making him do screen passes and 5-yard passes.
Oh, and he was throwing it at the ground even on those screen passes, like on the bubble screens. He was just throwing it to the ground. They couldn't even do that properly.
It was really disappointing. Like I said, I knew it was gonna be bad going in, but there's just nothing like that could just stop my disappointment for the Bears, because even though I expected them to be bad and expected us to be destroyed, I actually expected us to get destroyed more than we did on Sunday night. But it was just disappointing.
It's still disappointing because you look at the defense. The Bears pride themselves on defense, and now the defense is falling apart. So what are we going to pride ourselves on?
And props to Sean McVay's offense, because the dude is just a demon, especially with Matt Stafford going in there. They just fit perfectly because I always thought Matt Stafford was an amazing quarterback, because I mean he's been destroying us with the Lions, and it's not his fault why we beat the Lions. It's his teammates' fault because they always do something stupid.
He still has a winning record against us. You know that Matt Stafford is 12-9 against us now.
I mean, he's just a great quarterback, but
that is true.
I'm happy for Matt Stafford because I think he deserves this, and the defense showed up for the Rams. I just think the Bears are just a trash team. I think everyone was disappointing us. The only person that really didn't disappoint me was Montgomery.
And Roquan.
Roquan was doing good, and I want to say Marquise Goodwin was actually doing good.
Marquise Goodwin. Those are like the three people. Those are the three people that I picked that actually performed on Sunday.
Yeah, I like Kmet too, because
you can't forget him.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
You know what? I actually give props to our offensive line.
The offensive line actually didn't look as bad as I thought. Like, did you see? I mean, we dealt with countless injuries. Our starting left tackle is Jason Peters. He's 39. He's about to turn 40 in like a month or so. We do not have a great O line, but our interior offensive line is so underrated. Our interior O line is great.
Cody Whitehair was doing good. James Daniels was doing good. Mustard was actually doing good too. Mm-hmm. So props to him. Ifedi, Ifedi's Ifedi.
Yeah.
Jason Peters was doing all right before he got injured. And the rookie Larry Borum that we got, even though he played limited, like he was like 9 snaps or something.
Yeah.
He was looking decent too, but it's unfortunate that he got injured. And then we had to put Elijah Wilkinson, who was just like Jermaine Ifedi.
When the Denver Broncos fans said that Elijah Wilkinson is the Rashad Coward of their team.
No way. Yeah, Rashad Coward was so much worse. I don't think they knew what Rashad
They might have been exaggerating a little bit, but Elijah Wilkinson was not that great. They did not give him enough time to throw.
Imagine if we put Rashad Coward on that line, it would just be, 4 offensive linemen on the field.
Sack after sack after sack.
What is it, O'Neal?
What's up?
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say we're talking about the game in general. So the Bears have lost 14-34. But now let's talk about each position. So first we're gonna start with quarterbacks. Andy Dalton, he went 27 for 38. He had 206 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, 1 fumble. And then Justin Fields had 2 for 2 completions, 10 yards, 1 rushing touchdown for 3 yards. What are your opinions on the quarterback performances for last night, from Sunday night?
Justin Fields MVP performance, 100% completion rate.
100% completion, yeah.
As a touchdown on the game, the only person on the Bears quarterback out of all the quarterbacks to have a touchdown is already doing better than Aaron Rodgers. Is already doing better than Jordan Love. So that's a plus. And Andy Dalton, I thought did pretty bad. You know what? I thought he did a little bit below average because he still.
I would say he wasn't terrible.
But the thing was, if you looked at all his passes to like Mooney or A-Rob, they had to dive to the ground to get him. They had to dive to the ground to get him, and they
were throwing behind them. Like when he targeted Mooney in the end zone on one of the first drives that ended in a tipped interception, he just threw it insanely behind Mooney. Like Mooney cannot go for that.
It just they weren't good passes at all, and they weren't like any crazy passes. They were just like 5-10 yard passes. So I just thought that there was nothing special from Andy Dalton. Justin Fields looked like the GOAT as per usual, as he will be. And I just think that we're at that point. We've seen enough of Andy Dalton. We've already seen too much of Andy Dalton, actually. And we should have put Justin Fields in the second half of the game. And I think that we should put Justin Fields in against Cincinnati next week.
I completely agree. I mean, if you're putting Justin Fields in for package plays, if you're putting him in the red zone to complete a pass, which he completed the pass in the red zone, you're putting him in to do stupid shovel plays, or you're having him rush in the red zone. If you trust him to play in the red zone, then he should start, because that's the most important part of the field, and that's where if you make a mistake in that area, it costs you the game. So if you trust him that much, why is he not starting?
I agree. I completely agree. And I think all Bears fans are just bashing Matt Nagy, saying, what do you see in Andy Dalton that Justin Fields doesn't have?
Did you see his press conference when he said what we see in Andy Dalton? Someone asked him that question. He's like, we think that Andy Dalton makes us feel good. Like, he gave a very bleak and he didn't give a straightforward answer because he can't answer it. Why you're choosing Andy Dalton over Justin Fields?
I mean, the proof showed on Sunday night. There's nothing Andy Dalton provides for this team that Justin Fields can't provide and more. He will provide and more.
Right.
So I just think that having Andy Dalton in is just it's already like it's just bad, because Justin Fields was a day one starter. Everyone knew that coming in the draft. He's a day one starter, and for us to hold him out just because Matt Nagy saw the formula with Patrick Mahomes, you can't treat every quarterback the same. Mm-hmm. Mahomes wasn't a day one starter coming into the draft. Everyone thought he was a raw type of project pick. Justin Fields has the groundwork already. He has that high floor, and he's not a project player.
Yeah, he's a pro-ready prospect. He was the second most pro-ready prospect out of the draft, in my opinion.
So I think when Matt Nagy got asked the question if he was an idiot, and he said, "I'm not an idiot," I think that was the biggest lie I've ever heard come out of Matt Nagy's mouth, because he's one of the stupidest coaches I've ever seen.
I'm just losing complete faith, because I don't understand. Like, he we're losing. We're not even trying at all. We're losing games because he didn't put his finger behind his back and cross his fingers behind his back when he told Andy Dalton that he was going to be the starter. It's just all because of one promise that he made. He said that, Andy Dalton, you're going to be the starter, and now he's going through with it, and it's going to lose us games. If we lose next week versus the Bengals just because Andy Dalton is the starter, then I'm going to be done with it. I don't even know what to think.
I think that if we lose against the Bengals, or at least if our offense is absolutely disgusting, then I think we're at the point where if Matt Nagy doesn't want to give up play calling to Bill Lazor again, I think we have to move on from Matt Nagy because his stubbornness is just hurting the team and it's not helping us in any way possible. The thing I did like is that let's talk about the Justin Fields QB packages real quick because like I kind of liked what he did there because it gave that just like because we all know that Justin Fields is extremely fast and we all know that he can bomb it down the field. So it brings that level of uncertainty. If is he gonna run it, he's gonna hand it off, or he's gonna bomb it to somebody. So I that definitely shook up the Rams defense a little bit. But the problem is we could have that uncertainty every single play.
Right? You can have that when you're at the your own 25-yard line and they don't know. Is he going to make a big play? Because Justin Fields will make a big play. Justin Fields will make a 40-yard pass. Andy Dalton will not do that. He didn't even attempt a big play.
Yeah. I mean, but the thing is like we all know Andy Dalton's old. Andy Dalton, if the pocket's collapsing, Andy Dalton is not a good script. Well, let's not say he's not a good scrambling QB. Let's just say he's not.
Well, I mean, he's not a good scramble. He's not mobile. He's not mobile.
He's not mobile, but he's mobile enough to like move around. Because we did see him run like a couple of times, but he's not that scrambling QB. Justin Fields can scramble, he can run, and he can do it with efficiency. So why not just put Justin Fields in? You saw I don't know why they're risking it with the offensive line either, because if they're saying like, oh, we want Justin Fields to not die from our offensive line because our
then why is he doing package plays?
Why are you putting Andy Dalton in who's less mobile and he's old and he's more like prone to being destroyed by Aaron Donald and company?
I don't understand. I think that the run game looked good last night or on Sunday. The run game looked good, but if you add Justin Fields to that run game, it's going to be insane. We'd have one of the best. We'd have an insane run game because defenses are just going to stack the box against us. That's what other teams' game plan is going to be. They know that we have a quarterback that can't pass the ball or can't make big plays because the Bears in 2019 and 2020, they were 29th and 32nd in big plays, which was a 15-yard run or a 20-yard pass. We are the bottom of the bottom in big plays.
That's all Matt Nagy. That's all Matt Nagy because he's too scared to take risks. And if you don't take risks, we're just going to be a wild card team at best. It's just not. This is not the team I want.
At best, yeah. At best, honestly, I don't even know if wild card team is even at best with this Matt Nagy offense.
I'm just saying at best because we've gone to the wild card with Matt Nagy's offense the past 2 seasons.
That's true. But looking at this schedule, if Matt Nagy makes a wild card, I will be very surprised because I think the way that this past game performed, Matt Nagy is trying to get himself fired.
I don't think he's trying to get himself fired. I just think he's dumb. Like I said, I think he's dumb, and he actually thinks that what he's doing is working, and that's just like straight up just like delusional because the dude is on some type of drug for him to think this.
You know what Big Cat said? Big Cat said that Matt Nagy, the double doing, scrambled his brain.
I mean, it must have because after that, it just completely changed. It must have. But yeah, I think it's consensus by like not even like me because you saw what Bill Lazor said. He was like, Justin Fields is like that type of threat. Like we should put him in as soon as we can. Bill Lazor, our offensive coordinator.
Oh, I didn't know that Bill Lazor said that. Yeah, he's right.
I saw that because I go on Reddit and I saw somebody put a quote saying like, Justin Fields is that type of guy that you would want to start like immediately. Like Bill Lazor's saying that, just put him in. Like he's coached Andy Dalton before when he was with the Bengals, and he's saying that Justin Fields is a better player. Put Justin Fields in.
He knows. He knows.
I mean, everyone wants Justin Fields in now because we all know that he'll just be the better player for that offense. We need that explosive capabilities.
So, do you think Week 4 is when he starts?
Hopefully next week. They're gonna do like Andy Dalton revenge game, but I think if Andy Dalton does bad against the Bengals defense, then I think by second half they have to put Justin Fields in. They have to. But week four is like I think what's gonna happen. Week 4 or week 3 because
Against
I
the
don't think
Browns,
we're gonna.
I don't know if they play him against the Browns. That Browns defense is
I
looking
don't think
great.
they start him off. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because I don't think Andy Dalton will be able to produce against the Browns. I think Andy Dalton will do fine against the Bengals. That's why I don't think next week really. But against the Browns, I think is the best chance for Andy Dalton to do bad, and Matt Nagy be like, oh, we have to put Justin
Yeah,
Fields in now. If not, then week 4. Yeah.
I agree. Now let's switch positions to receivers, so wide receivers and tight ends. I know that we mentioned earlier that we were very impressed with Goodwin and Komet, but it was kind of a quiet night for A-Rob. A-Rob had 6 receptions for 35 yards. I mean, he's primarily covered by Jalen Ramsey. Or Jalen Ramsey, he played a really interesting position tonight because Brandon Staley's not the defensive coordinator anymore, so he played kind of a linebacker DB hybrid. So Jalen Ramsey was there against the run as well as receivers. But overall, I think receiving wise, wide receiver wise, Komet or Goodwin was the best because Goodwin was there pretty much every play. But then Komet showed a lot of promise as well, getting open on his routes.
I also like how Komet fights for yards. That's the type of thing I like to see in my tight end. Play big, play bigger than the rest of the people on the field, and try to get those extra yards. I mean, that's what makes a great tight end different from just like a normal tight end because they can block really well, like Kels and Kittle. Um, and they're great pass catchers and they like to fight for yards.
Mm-hmm. Completely agree. Even on the fourth down, when we went for fourth down, Komet was completely open, and Andy Dalton just missed him. But the separation and the route running, I'm starting to see improvement as well as the blocking as well. Komet is due for a breakout this year.
Oh, 100%. I'm rooting for Komet too. Goodwin, I agree. Goodwin did really good. I think Goodwin is a huge improvement over Anthony Miller. Um, and I actually like our wide receiving room a lot. I like Demir Bird too. Demir Bird got a couple of catches. He looked pretty decent too. At least he didn't drop it or anything. Um, Robinson, like I said, he had to dive for the ball. He had to dive to the ground for the ball. It's not like Mitchell Trubisky throws where he has to dive sideways and then he might get like another 1 or 2 yards diving. This dude's literally diving to the ground. I thought that was just disappointing. We weren't able to really see Robinson get a yards after the catch type play because there's no passes that were given to him in which he could run with the ball.
And I hate that Robinson, when people talk about A-Rob, they say that he is not a stretch the field type receiver. He can't make big plays. He's never given the opportunity to make big plays.
Did you see his route tree too? They're using him in the slot, so they're not pushing him out more than like 6 yards, 7 yards. He's usually just going in and then going across the field. That's just how they've been using him.
Yeah, no, that's just how they've been using it. It's interesting to see, but I think when you have that alpha wide receiver one, you have to use him in more than just the slot. You have to use him in big play abilities overall.
I agree, because I mean, Allen Robinson can do it all. Allen Robinson is a complete receiver. I think he can do it all.
I saw that Jimmy Graham, I think he played a total of 14 snaps, so we're paying him that much money to catch the ball maybe once or twice a game.
Kyle Fuller just to have Jimmy Graham just come in the field 6 times or however many times it was.
Yeah, it was not too many times. I mean, he caught 1 or 2 nice receptions. He caught 1 nice reception on Jalen Ramsey, but other than that, goes because he didn't play any snaps. I like that Komet played. I think it was 76% of the snaps, so I like that. But
Komet is really good. Komet's really good blocking tight end, and he's really good pass catching tight end. I remember the only thing that worried me about tight end, not tight end, about Cole Komet was that
ball security.
His ability to ball security because he fumbles a lot. Like every time he used to get tackled last year, the ball would come out of his hands. Either it would fall out of the out of bounds or like the other team would pick it up. So he looked pretty good because he was hitting people. And I saw him hold the ball like decent because that's the thing that worried me the most was ball security. And I was happy that he was able to work on that.
No, I agree completely. Now let's switch over to running backs. This is where I think our Bears players shine the most. In Montgomery, who had 16 attempts for 108 rushing yards, he had 6.8 yards per carry and 1 touchdown. And then Damian Williams had 6 attempts for 12 yards.
I mean, Montgomery's a star. I mean, I knew that since like we drafted him when I saw, even though he didn't look like he produced week 1 of his rookie season or like his first year of his rookie season, I always told people look at the offensive line and look where people are trying to tackle him 3 yards before the line of scrimmage, and he has to fight to get like 6 yards just to get 3 yards per carry. And he showed that last year. He showed that again this year, so it continued off. He was doing really good towards the end of the season last year. It continued off, and we can finally put that. Oh, he only does good against bad defenses.
Dude,
We can put that
finally
away.
his balance is insane. His vision, I think it was a little over 80 yards of his 108 rushing yards that came after contact. He gets
Oh,
he
100%.
what? Yeah, it was that much.
I mean, think about in college. He broke the record for like most broken tackles in a season or something.
Last year he was last year in the NFL he was third in broken tackles.
Yeah, and last year, I mean, he's always top for breaking tackles. I
Yeah.
mean, the dude always he looks slimmer too.
Yeah,
He looks
and he
a
looks
little bit slimmer,
faster. He's been
and he
working on
looks
his
a little bit
footwork. He shed I think it was 10 or 7 pounds in the off season. He's shedding weight to try to become faster, and it's showing.
But the thing that disappointed me was that um they like to play Damian Williams in, even though I think Damian Williams did good on a couple of plays. I don't think Damian Williams should be on the field that much
Mm-hmm.
because when you have a player like Montgomery, who's a pass catching back, who's the reason why you let Jordan Howard go because you wanted to get a pass catching back in Montgomery, and you don't use him in the passing situations because they kept using Damian Williams in the passing situations, and we know as Bear fans we've seen it before. David Montgomery is extremely good pass catching back, and the dude once he gets the ball he tries to break 3 or 4 tackles, so he'll always get you those extra yards. So I think we should use him more in the pass catching. I think we should run into him more, feed Monty, because obviously our passing game is not working.
Yeah.
And Monty is just like the star of our offense.
He needs to
He's
get
just
more touches. He had 16 attempts and he had 1 reception, so he had 17 touches overall on Sunday night. But Nagy said 20. We need 20.
Yeah, 20.
We
That's what I'm
need
saying.
20.
I knew that was a lie. I've called it out before. Everyone's like, "Hey, Matt Nagy promised Montgomery's supposed to get at least 20 touches." Like, there's no because he promised that last year too.
Yeah, he does say that a lot.
We got what 10 touches, 9 touches in the first game last year or something.
Yeah, he got nothing in the week 1 game last year. But I'm so excited that people can stop saying Monty beat up on bad defenses because the Rams are a top 5 defense and you can't say otherwise. And Monty beat them up.
He broke tackles on pretty much every single defender on that team. He broke a tackle from Aaron Donald. He broke like a tackle from like Leonard Floyd. He broke a tackle from like everybody. Dudes are insane. I love Montgomery.
He's the second leading rusher in the NFL right now, and number 1 plays us next week. Number 1 is Joe Mixon.
I like Joe Mixon too, but the problem with Joe Mixon is that I don't think he can stay healthy.
Yeah.
So I'm not wishing him like bad luck. I'm just saying the truth. Like if you look in the previous years.
No, yeah, Monty, there are times where he gets injured, but he comes back right. Like even in Sunday night, he got injured and he just comes back right.
That worried me, but I think he just like popped his finger or something because I saw him holding his like hand like right here, like towards his finger. He went out in the locker room and then came back and he was completely fine. So he might have just dislocated like a joint.
Yeah, I think so. All right, now let's switch over to our defense. I don't even know what to say. Like
our defense was absolutely disgusting.
It was terrible. It was
besides
so bad.
Roquan Smith. I mean,
Kendall Vildor too. I'm gonna give. I like Kendall Vildor.
Did all right. Jalen Johnson did all right too.
Jalen Johnson, Kendall Vildor, Roquan. That's it.
No, I thought Kendall Vildor. Yeah, he looked decent.
He looked decent
on some plays, but he was getting a little bit targeted every once in a while. But I think that Ryan Pace did Sean Desai 0 favors with
definitely
the secondary. 0 favors. Okay, I'm gonna tell you people who disappointed me right now. Deshaun Gibson, Eddie Jackson. I don't know what they were doing on
Christian,
that.
number 23.
Well, I'll get to that. So Eddie Jackson and Deshaun Gibson.
Alec Ogletree disappointed.
What's his name? Van Jefferson on the first 50-yard bomb where they didn't touch him.
Oh yeah, Deshaun Gibson didn't tackle. It was Deshaun Gibson and Eddie Jackson.
That's what I'm saying. Both disappointed me because of that. Eddie Jackson, there was a video of him saying everyone knows how to tackle. Go for the ball. Doesn't know how to tackle at all. It honestly just looks like a bottom tier safety based off of last game.
So you want to talk about that? You want to talk about Eddie Jackson because we have to talk about.
I'll get to. I'm just naming off Deshaun Gibson. He looked pretty bad. There's not really much that he like did that shined. He was just getting like abused. Marquis Christian, I think is an absolute bum. I think it just Buster Screen 2.0 in that nickel position. He just doesn't do anything right. Ogletree, I was wrong. I actually,
You vouched for Ogletree. He was
vouched
getting.
for him. He was getting destroyed, but low key, like he was. I think he was just average. He wasn't
The
anything
run
too
defense,
crazy.
he was good. He was
Yeah,
decent in the run. Tackling and coverage, absurdly
yeah.
terrible. He was terrible.
But that's not. It's not like That's nothing that's different with our
With
second. Like
Trevathan,
the
yeah, no,
Trevathan,
it's
Trevathan's
nothing
the same.
different.
Cleo Mack, absolute disappointment. He really did nothing. He was just invisible in the entire field. Robert Quinn, he looked like he got that step back, but the thing is, he was overshooting himself, and he was also invisible the entire game. Akeem Hicks was good. I thought Akeem
Robert
Hicks was
Quinn had a
so.
better game than I expected. Well, I mean, the
Yeah.
expectations
Or,
are very low, but he still I'd say Robert Quinn had a decent game because Robert Quinn, I think he had 3 pressures, he had 1 QB hit and 2 hurries. That's an
That's what I'm
all
saying.
right game. That's an all right game.
He got his step back. I think he got a step back, and I just think that he wasn't used to it. It was just overshooting his abilities. Akeem Hicks, I thought was good.
Mm-hmm.
He was the only person who got a sack yesterday. Uh, or yeah,
It was
on
yeah.
Sunday
Akeem
night.
Hicks and Robert Quinn both got half a sack.
Robert Quinn got a half sack. I thought Akeem Hicks got that full
I
sack.
think.
I mean, it might have. Yeah.
Actually, no. I think it might have been just Akeem Hicks.
Yeah. So Akeem Hicks, I thought did well. I thought he did well in the run game too. I thought our run defense was good. I just think that they collapsed towards the end because of they were just getting destroyed and they just kind of just like were gassed out and gave up.
Agreed.
Bilal Nichols, I thought he did his job. I mean, we're not really expecting anything too crazy from Bilal Nichols.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely miss Eddie Goldman because the dude is just always injured though. It's unfortunate. Hopefully he's back next week. Overall defense absolute garbage. This is the first time I've seen the defense worse than the offense.
Yeah.
And I just extremely disappointed.
The Bears can never have 2 of the same. Like an all right offense, which I think the Bears last night, they were below average offense, but they were a very below average defense because the secondary is disgusting. I love Cleo Mack. Cleo Mack cannot go silent in games like this. He was silent on Sunday night. He had 1 pressure, no QB hits, no QB. I think he maybe had 1 hurry, no sacks, nothing. You can't go silent like that.
And I don't blame Sean. People are blaming Sean Desai. Listen, Sean Desai wasn't the reason for the blown coverage on was it Cup? When Marquis Christian was going after him. But Sean Desai was also not the reason for 2 veterans and Sean Gibson and Eddie Jackson not to touch Van Jefferson as he's going down. Sean Desai also was playing to max strengths and put him on the line to rush the QB for most of the game. He wasn't doing like a Chuck Pagano thing where he put him out in coverage. So Sean Desai was doing what he was trying to do, but he was getting no favors by the play. The players were not listening to him and were not playing to what Sean Desai was telling him to do.
They weren't.
Because I saw the glimpse of Vic Fangio's defense. I just didn't see the players
playing out to that standard.
Yeah, playing out to that standard, and that is something I saw disappointed me as well. Is that our players and all our players were saying, "Oh, gassing up Sean Desai." Sean Desai's like Vic Fangio. Akeem Hicks was saying blah blah blah. Eddie Jackson was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get hella interceptions and pick sixes." We didn't see any of that.
Yeah, I think it was really just the players failing Sean Desai. And Eddie Jackson, let's talk about Eddie Jackson. I'm starting to give up on him. I'm starting to think that it was just one good year. Because in 2019 and 2020, he's been disappointing.
I thought he was decent in 2019. I actually thought he was alright.
In 2019, he wasn't even close as good as he was in 2018 though.
Yeah, 2018.
I wouldn't know if I could give the label disappointing to 2019. But 2020 was disappointing.
2020 was disappointing.
And so far 2021 is disappointing because he's not tackling.
It's literally abysmal. It's worse than last year. It looks worse than last year.
The tackling, did you see that he liked a tweet? There was NBC5 Bears. They said, Eddie Jackson, I don't know what's wrong with you, but you need to fix it. And Eddie Jackson liked that. I hope he uses this as motivation that he needs to get better because the tackling, it's losing us games. First it was the Cooper Kupp the Van Jefferson touchdown where he doesn't touch him when he's down. But then also the Cooper Kupp wide receiver screen where Cooper Kupp it's 3rd and 13 and he gets tackled or he gets pushed out of bounds. He can't even tackle Cooper Kupp. He says a million people can tackle. He's not one of them.
and the coverage is bad. I thought he did worse on Sunday night than he did last year because at least last year for majority of the season he was covered pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
His coverage was decent. It was just his tackling that was bad. But overall, he just gave a horrible show Sunday night, and it
It
was a
was really
complete
disappointing.
disappointment. I'm with you too. I'm starting to lose hope on Eddie Jackson. I don't buy into the players who just like stuff on Twitter when people talk bad. Then they're like, all right, watch me, keep eyes on me, because like I've seen that happen. Cleo Mack last year and 2 years ago would always like posts with people trashing him. Eddie Jackson always does this. Anthony Miller always does the same. They all do that. Allen Robinson does it, but I mean Allen Robinson performs.
Yeah.
But all those players do it, but it's not. They can use it as motivation, but I haven't seen them do better.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I'm just losing hope. I'm losing hope on our entire defense, and I just think that we should just nuke. Depending on how the first, the next 5 weeks go, we should start looking for trades on Eddie Jackson and stuff like that, and keep our piece of Roquan Smith, Bilal Nichols, and Jalen Johnson, and we should build around them. I think we should rebuild our defense around them. Get new secondary. Kindle Vildor, like you said, I think he's doing good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he still makes a few mistakes, and eventually he'll knock those kinks out, and he'll be a solid cornerback for us. So if we were, because I mean, Deshaun Gibson's old. He's getting older now. He's almost at retirement age.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to get a new strong safety. I think that if Eddie Jackson doesn't perform, we got to get a new safety. I think that we got to get a new linebacker next to Roquan because we're not getting any good linebackers next to Roquan. Trevathan, Ogletree, they're depth pieces. That's all it is. And we got to get new edge rushers
Yeah,
because Mac.
we need to put someone good next to Roquan because Roquan is he's putting the defense on his back. It's really
Yeah,
disgusting because the D line is not helping him at all. They're helping him with the run defense, and then the DBs with the coverage, no one is helping Roquan with the coverage. When he's the nearest defender, it's him and it's only him. He's
yeah.
not getting any
And
help.
why did we cut Trufant? Why
I
did we
don't know.
cut Trufant?
His dad passed away, and so
But
he
now
wasn't.
he
I
got
think
picked up for the
he
Saints.
wasn't attending practices, maybe, or
I mean, but I mean that's
yeah,
understandable.
that is
That
understandable.
he has a family grievance. Why did we cut Trufant? He went to the Saints, and now he actually played decent for the Saints. Actually, I don't know. I know the Saints defense went well, so that's why
Yeah.
I'm inferring that he played decent. But I don't know if he actually played.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, like, Trufant would have done 100 times better than Marquis Christian
I'm hoping that
nickel
Marquis
position.
Christian isn't. It was just a 1 week thing because Duke Shelley was the one that was injured. Duke Shelley couldn't play.
They didn't use Artie Burns, did they?
I didn't see Artie Burns. I don't think I did.
I think they should have tried him out at least. Yeah, I don't think I saw Artie Burns either. But overall disappointment defense,
Mm-hmm.
disappointing defense. I think Roquan's making this case for All Pro at the linebacker position.
Roquan had he had 11 tackles, and the thing is, so when people talk about Roquan, people don't consider him a top 3 linebacker. They talk about his run defense, and so what his run defense on Sunday was great. His run defense,
Yeah,
he last year, I know people like to talk about PFF grades. Last year, he had the only thing wrong with Roquan in his PFF grade was he had a bad run defense grade. He had I think it was a 39, and last night or on Sunday he had a 79.2 grade. So his run defense is looking great this year overall. You saw him making plays.
yeah. So I have high hopes for Roquan to make an all. If he doesn't make a Pro Bowl this year, it's rigged. If he doesn't make an All Pro
It's
this
all just
year,
popularity. It's all just
All Pro
popularity.
I
Roquan's
I
not a
mean
very popular player.
that's true. But the thing is, like, he's just so good.
He is. He
And
is.
if he doesn't make an All Pro first team, it's rigged because this dude is gonna do everything on our defense.
Agreed.
Um, but like I said, I don't. I feel bad for Sean Desai. I don't put the blame on him. I put the blame on the players. I just want to go back real quick to the running backs, and I just want to mention one person. I wish I saw a little bit of Khalil Herbert. My bad,
Mm-hmm.
I hit my mic. I wish I saw a little bit of Khalil Herbert,
Mm-hmm.
because I think that Khalil Herbert has higher potential than Damian Williams. Because let's talk about Khalil Herbert on special teams too.
Mm-hmm.
He had a really good kick return. I think that he's going to be solid for us in the special teams. I think that Webster guy, Sami Simba Webster, he's the punt returner that we got from the Rams. I think that he's a solid punt returner too. So I think our special teams is good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we have any problems in the special teams. Of course, Pat O'Donnell will always be the goat of our team because we just always punt the ball. Mega punt. Cairo Santos wasn't really used ever because we just kept going on fourth down, which I don't blame. You know what? I don't blame Matt Nagy for us going on it, on fourth down, because if we don't, we're still gonna get destroyed.
Yeah,
we have to. We have. But the thing is,
we have to score.
The plays that he did on fourth down was bad. And
they were bad. Well, I mean, Andy Dalton didn't do any favors. He didn't even look to Cole Kmet running a route, running a slant right in front of him to get that first down on 4th and 1.
So, other than that, I like Khalil Herbert a lot. I think that we should use him over Damian Williams. I think that Monty and Herbert, that 1-2 punch is going to be extremely solid. And I like their special teams too.
Agree completely. All right, so now that we've talked about offense and defense, we should talk about the rest of the division. The Vikings lost to the Bengals 27-24. We can talk about that loss a little bit. They lost in overtime.
I saw. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase connection is real.
It is.
I think that there's gonna be a crazy duo. I thought Jamar Chase was gonna be a bust when I saw the reports in training camp and preseason.
Oh, the couple of drops. He didn't play. He didn't play football for a year and a half.
That's true, but the thing is, like, there was like they would every day I'd just be like, oh, Jamar Chase had like 5 targets and had 5 drops, or had 6 targets and a screen pass and 6 drops, or stuff like that. In preseason, I would watch him and it'd just be like easy passes and it'd just be drops. So I was like, I don't know if this guy's gonna be that good this year. But then he comes in and balls out with Joe Burrow. The Vikings, somewhat of a disappointment. They shut down.
Dude, the Vikings O-line looks terrible. It was so bad.
It was really bad. I wasn't really seeing any potential for the Vikings to make it to the playoffs or go deep in the playoffs. Let me say, I think they'll make it to
the Vikings. I had them as an 11-win team. I'm very seriously starting to doubt that after they lose. They lost week 1 to a bottom 3 team or bottom 5 team in the league.
And it's the Bengals. I mean, who's on the Bengals defense besides their safety?
Jesse Bates. There ain't
no one. There really is no one.
There really isn't anyone.
Why wasn't Cook able to run the ball?
I don't know. This Cook got stopped, and then in the late game he fumbled, which wasn't really a fumble, but they lost and they were getting killed by Jamar Chase overall. It was very disappointing. And Kirk Cousins, he's not that guy. You look at the stat line, and it looks like a good stat line because he had this many yards passing, these amount of touchdowns. He did not play good.
He's an empty calories type of guy, so like he has that stat line, but it doesn't show in game because he's not a winning quarterback. He's not a winning quarterback. I agree. He's not that guy at all. I'm very surprised the Vikings lost.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of.
But hopefully this means better for the Bears, and that the Bears will have an opportunity to sweep them or beat them once.
I don't want to say a lot because I don't want to jinx it because we're versing the Bengals, and I don't want me to say like, oh, I can't believe the Vikings couldn't beat the Bengals just for us to lose to the Bengals too.
Oh no, it's very possible, and we'll preview that in a little bit. But the Packers Saints, 38-3, curb stomp. They got curb stomped.
Yeah.
Rodgers had 0 touchdowns. Oh, Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston exposed their defense.
I think he had 148 yards passing with 5 touchdowns, and that hasn't been done since the 1940s or the 1950s.
I was enjoying that game so much, and Aaron Rodgers was looking so bad. He was making throws I've never seen him make. He was just bombs.
I just think he doesn't care. Like I think he did that. I feel like he did that to prove a point. I'm not even gonna lie.
I don't know if it's he doesn't care or if he's just not, because I mean think about this whole offseason. He's just been playing golf. He's been doing this and that. He hasn't really done football stuff. Like,
but I've seen his interviews on the Pat McAfee show. He in the offseason he doesn't touch a football. He says that every offseason. Even last year, before all the drama, he was saying that in the offseason he doesn't touch a football and he does him because he's good enough to not do that.
I mean, he's got to show it this year because in the first game it just looked. I mean, but the thing is, props to the Saints defense. They were doing really good. They just destroyed him. But Aaron Rodgers just looked terrible, and I was so happy to see that happen.
Yeah,
They didn't
0
score a
touchdowns, 2
touchdown.
interceptions.
Yeah, they didn't score a touchdown. 38-3. That's
Yeah,
that's that's worse than the Bills game score in the preseason.
it
Won't
was
lie.
it was really bad. No one on the Packers really impressed me. I mean, it's kind of amazing that they're still starting Kevin King just to be burnt toast again, and they're not trying out or starting their first round pick Eric Stokes.
Stokes, yeah. I thought Eric Stokes did good in preseason too, so I think they should start him. They put Jordan Love in towards the end of the game,
Mm-hmm.
and he just made a few passes.
Yeah,
Nothing too
he didn't really
crazy.
do anything. That O line is not looking good or great as it once was because
Was
Bakhtiari is out for the first 6 or 7 weeks. So the Bakhtiari is not going to be playing against the Bears in week 6.
but the thing is like yeah, but they lost like who Corey Linsley
Corey Linsley and Bach are not on the
and
line right
Bach.
now.
But the thing is like I think Corey Linsley was also a huge player on the offensive line because
Yeah, he's the best center in football right now.
yeah, if you look at their offensive line, they were getting destroyed everywhere. Like, yeah, you got Bach to help in that left side, but like you literally got the middle and the right side just collapsing
Mm-hmm.
completely. So I think Bakhtiari will help a little bit, but not too much because they were just getting
I think
destroyed.
the Packers bounce back, but obviously
Oh,
because
100%.
they're
I
gonna
mean,
bounce back and they're gonna have a good next week. I think next week. Oh, next week they play
it's
the Lions
Lions.
on Monday Night Football.
I
That's an
think
easy win.
I think that Aaron Rodgers just had one bad game. I'm just trashing on him just to piss off Packers fans,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that he's gonna come back and
He
show why he
he
was
has to come back because he had that one bad game last year again, Week 4 versus the Buccaneers, where he was just terrible. He has
and
one bad game per season. Yeah, I mean, it's
I
looking
also
like it.
think that the first game of the season for any team really doesn't measure their season outlook too
Yeah,
much.
no, for sure. Because the Packers, I still think that the Packers are a top 5 team. This
Yeah,
one game is not going to show, going to
I
change
think the
that.
Packers, yeah, because like if it's a bad team, yeah, sure. If
Mm-hmm.
it's a bad team, yeah, sure. But if it's just like a really good team and you just had the former MVP, the MVP of last year on your team, and he did bad, I just think that was just one bad game.
Yeah,
I think
just
he's
one
gonna
bad
step it up
game.
next week.
I
I think
agree.
he's gonna step it up next week.
Something to be or something to act, some good news for the Lions, I guess. Even though they lost 41-33 to the 49ers, they look decent. Like they
Yeah,
came
they did
back.
look.
I like Dan Campbell as a head coach for them.
Yeah, I think they did look decent too. They took risks. I think their plays, like you said, they like Dan Campbell's a good coach. I think he did well. I think the players really like him and they really support him. And I think the Lions will soon be a threat. I think once they build up their defense a little bit more, I think they'll be a really big threat. Penei Sewell, their number one
Oh, he was doing great against Nick
overall.
Bosa.
Yeah,
Great
he
that
was shutting
matchup.
him down.
He shut
He
him
was
down.
shutting him down. I don't know what they're gonna do now because it didn't look like he was doing good on right tackle, but they put him back because
Yeah, they
their
put him
left
at
tackle
left
got
tackle
injured.
because Taylor Decker is injured. Taylor Decker did
Yeah,
their left
and
tackle didn't play.
if I were the Lions, I would keep Penei Sewell at that left tackle,
Mm-hmm.
and I would see if what's his name, Southern Decker.
Taylor Decker.
Taylor,
I
yeah,
would put Taylor Decker at the right because I think
put
Penny
Taylor
Sewell
Decker there.
has the higher ceiling, and he's he's one of the best tackle prospects we've seen in years.
Yeah.
You have to
So,
keep him at the left tackle.
so that was a really good thing to see for like a bright
Yeah,
bright
but
spot
also
for the Lions.
the rushing offense. Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift look great. Like
Yeah.
I was very impressed by it. And DeAndre Swift, he's looking to be one of the bigger pass catching backs. I think he lined up in the slot or lined up as a receiver, or in the slot about 60% of the time. So he was getting them. He was getting those targets. He was getting those receptions. He's gonna be insane this year. And overall, just very impressed. Jared Goff has gotten a lot of slander over the past offseason. People like to
I
make
don't
fun of him.
I didn't think he did bad. I think that he started off a little bit like rusty, but I didn't think he did bad. I think he did.
I
pretty
think he
good.
did good. I think he had a good game.
Yeah, I think he had a good game too. But the thing is, like, you're versing the Niners, so
Yeah,
the Niners are a very good team,
that's true.
very well coached.
All right. So now that we finished up our divisional wrap up of the NFC North, let's preview our upcoming opponent of the Cincinnati Bengals.
I think that this should be an easy win for us.
It should be. On paper, it should be.
Because they have no offensive line, and we have these supposed great pass rushers, but they do have good receivers, and
that's what I think is going to be the death of us. That receiving core is lethal. Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase.
Don't they have really good tight end too?
I forget who their tight end is. Maybe it might be Tyler Eifert. No, not Tyler Eifert. What's his name?
The
tight end for the Bengals. Who their tight end is?
Oh, C.J. Uzomah and
Drew Sample.
Drew Sample,
yeah.
Who's C.J. Uzomah?
They're C.J. Uzomah. I think he was injured last year.
I see.
But yeah, the receivers are the cream of their crop of their team. It's the best part of their team. I think that we can shut down Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is the leading rusher in the NFL. I think we can shut down Joe Mixon. The problem is that receiving core, and I think that receiving core could lose us this game. Or
100%. But hopefully, Eddie Goldman's back.
Yeah.
Because if Eddie Goldman's back, then we can put more people in that secondary. Because all we need is really just Akeem Hicks, and Eddie Goldman, that centerpiece, and in the middle, and that's all. That's all the players. We don't need to put Bilal Nichols in because they'll shut down the running game by themselves. But like I said, the secondary is going to be like you said. I mean, the secondary is going to be the death of us. I don't trust. They're just going to keep targeting. Jamar Chase is going to burn us. T. Higgins is such a great receiver.
It's not going to be fun.
It's not going to be fun, but I think that they have just as bad of a defense as we do, and I think that we should. If we don't do 5-10 yard passes, I think that we should burn them too because we have great receivers as well.
That's fact.
And we have a great running back. And I think that offensively we should dominate them. But that all depends on Nagy and Dalton.
It all depends. The death will be the secondary, and our offense has to come through. We have to make those big plays.
So what do you think would be the final score prediction?
I think the Bears win 28-24.
20-24.
Yeah.
You think it's gonna be a shootout like that?
I think both defenses are. I think the Bears defense is gonna allow up some points. This isn't the defense that we saw last year, where in the first couple of games we were allowing barely any points.
I think it's gonna be 24-17. Us.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be 24-17 us. But yeah, I think that we should win this pretty easily.
I think so too. And if we lose this, I'm gonna cry because we should not be losing to the Bengals.
If we lose this, man, you got to give up play calling. You're not the guy.
You start to hit the panic button. It's week 2, and you're already hitting the panic button.
Play Justin Fields, even though it's against the Browns. Start Justin Fields. I don't care who it's up against. I think Justin Fields will do good against any team because I think he's that leader we need and that person we need on the offense. And let's just say, well, I'm already expecting disappointment.
Yeah,
I will not be surprised.
I'm gonna try to not expect disappointment, but I know that from that secondary that I saw last week, it's gonna come back, and it's gonna be the same secondary.
Yeah, but I mean, let's hope for the best.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys for listening to the Shy Bears Blitz podcast. We'll be coming to you next week. We're gonna have our post-game recap on the Cincinnati Bengals game. Hopefully the Bears win, but if they don't, we'll still be here anyways. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you guys next week.
See you.